Do you like taking exams? Well, me, no. Although I might have the information in my head, I don't like taking exams. In my previous video, I spoke about a murder at my doorstep, and that murder occurred a week or two before my common entrance examination. And as far as I can recall, from primary school, a major exam as common entrance, right up to university, I have negative experiences which always trigger a panic attack. It's not something to laugh about, but when I go back on more school, so on the basis of that, I can comfortably say exam won't be my bother going forward. Um, when I was in high school and was about to do CXC, the night before my very first examination, I was walking in the lane where I lived, and everything it was coming down to dust, and it was dust, and night was coming down. So I was walking, comfortably. I was close to my home, so I was walking quite gingerly. Suddenly, in front of me was a bull, crazy as hell, running towards me. No, there was nowhere to go because to my right was a house on a hill that was totally fenced around, and to my left was a gully, so there was nowhere to go. So I decided that I knew the owner. He was the same man who owned the property where the fencing was. So I thought more or less that the bull would be going in that direction. We are not going to cross path. So what I did, I ran towards the bull because there was a lane where houses were, and I decided that I was going to run down the lane. So of course, I ran as fast as I could. But guess what happened? When I turned down in the lane, the bull turned same place. By this time, I was about 16. By this time, the only thing that I could think about is that he's running me down. So I ran as fast as I could. Strangely, there was a tree root that ran across the road, and it was loose, and my slippers caught in the tree root and lift me and pitch me forward a couple of feet, and I landed in a tree and hitting my face to the right. I think I was knocked senseless, and the gentleman, the owner of the bull, he assisted me to get up, and he took me home. Immediately, you know, they got some ice and applied on it, and I was in a lot of pain, a whole lot of pain. It was one of the most terrifying experiences I've ever had. And the following morning, I would be having my accounts examination. Now, that year, I was the only person at my school who was doing accounts. So I was scheduled to go to this nearby school, McGrath High, to sit the examination. Early in the morning, as a matter of fact, as the night progressed, I realized that my face was swelling all over, and it had bloodshot in my right eye, and it was swollen shut. My right eye was swollen shut, and as it got closer to the morning, both eyes were swollen shut and filled with bloodshot. And I have exam 9 o'clock in the morning. Ah, boy, I tell you, it was one terrifying experience. My mother got up quite early and she took me to the hospital, and they examined me, gave me some medication, and told me to go home and rest the eyes. I am not to go to the exam because my eyes, by this time, they say that, I might cause greater damage to it, so I'm to go home and keep it closed and rest it until the swelling draws down. It wasn't me them talking to, right? Alright, if you know me, you know that I'm a determined person. So telling me something like that wasn't going to sit well. I don't want to tell you what I went through to pay for that subject. And for me to not do it wasn't going to happen. So I went home, showered, put on the uniform. By this time, the eye pulled down a little. I could just barely peep through. And I was determined that I was going to do the exam just the same. My mom said I'm not to go, and I told her I have to because I can't afford to repeat school, and it was such a difficult task already to pay for the subject. So as much as I can and whatever I can do, I'm going to do it. When I got to the high school, it was not my regular school, and I don't know anyone there. Children can be cruel, Let me tell you something, they can be cruel. I'm a teacher for 26 years, and if a child wants to tell a lie on you, that child is going to do it. And if they don't like you, trust me, they make up stories about you. So you better prepare yourself when it comes down to children. They can make stories, fabricate them, and they look so genuine. So I went to the school. I'm not familiar with anyone there. And as I went through the gate, here was a girl who had her face beaten up. And instead of the boys and some of the students empathize with me, or even show me a little sympathy, you know what they did? They gang up on me and tell me, I don't know these people, This is the first time I'm going to this school. But based on how my eyes was, my eyes were looking, they drew the conclusion that I must have had a fight or some altercation with a man or some woman man. So they accused me of, taking somebody's man, and they laugh and they jeered and they laugh and they jeered. And it just compounded the problem. It made me feel so down. I tell you, it was not a pleasant experience at all. But you know something? My resolve and my determination was heightened. So, you know that when I went into that exam is vengeance. I wasn't nervous anymore. I was angry. And I was angry to do my best. Considering my circumstance, I didn't feel pity anymore. I was too upset to feel pity. I think probably they did me a world of good. And I went inside, and of all my CXCs that I've ever done, that's the only subject that I have a distinction in. There was no fear and everything. I cried so much that when I went in that exam, although I was in pain and having headache, I was so determined to be successful that everything just came back to me. And that particular exam, I couldn't fail it either because I had a teacher. Her name is Mrs. Cameron, or Miss Cameron. She wasn't married. And Miss Cameron would take every evening and sit and assisted me to prepare for that exam. She didn't charge me 1 cent. And because of that, I couldn't afford to go to that exam and be a failure. I had to pass, and I had to pass well. So that was my high school examination trauma. I definitely have to experience some trauma before my examination. So that was high school. What about college? You think I got away scotch free at college? You got it all wrong. If I tell you about my college experience when I was going to do my exam, you're going to say, boy, they must obey me. So, my next story will definitely be my trauma in college when I was about to do exam. I can laugh now. I really can laugh. But I'm sure you want to hear about that. Alright? So join me next time for the next story time when I let you know what was my experience in college. Until that time, take care. Please remember to hit the like button and leave a comment. Did you have any trauma before doing your exam? Are you afraid of examinations? Let me know. Until that time,